The classroom was quiet except for the professor's voice. Sat in the back row with a yellow highlighter in her hand. She was marking important lines in her physics textbook. The morning sun came through the tall windows and made warm patches on the wooden desks. Like this, she liked being a normal student. She liked worrying about exams and homework and whether the cafeteria would have good food today. These small worries felt like gifts to her. Her friend sat next to her. He was sleeping with his head on his arms. A small line of drool was forming at the corner of his mouth, smiled and shook her head. He had stayed up all night playing video games again. The professor was talking about quantum physics, something about particles being in two places at once. Found it interesting. The universe was strange and beautiful, and she wanted to understand it. She wanted to understand things that did not involve blood and death. Then the sky went dark. At first thought it was a cloud passing over the sun, but the darkness grew deeper. The professor stopped talking. Students looked up from their phones and notebooks. Someone pointed at the window. A massive shape was descending through the clouds. It was bigger than anything had ever seen in the sky. The ship was black and covered with sharp angles, like it was designed to look scary. Red lights glowed along its edges. Woke up suddenly. What the hell is that? Screams started in the hallway. Could hear people running. Car alarms went off outside. The whole building seemed to shake as the giant ship lowered itself over the city. Then every screen in the room turned on by itself. The professor's computer, the students' phones, the digital clock on the wall. They all showed the same image. A face appeared. It was not human. The creature had scales like a lizard, but it stood upright like a man. Its eyes were yellow with black slits in the middle. It wore heavy armor decorated with bones and metals. When it spoke, its voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. I am General of the Empire. The classroom went completely silent. Even the screaming in the hallway stopped. Everyone was watching. We have traveled across the stars. We have conquered 47 species. Today we add yours to our collection. Today we claim Earth. Grab's arm, his hand was shaking. We need to go, we need to find shelter. Did not move. She watched the alien general with calm eyes. Her highlighter was still in her hand. However, continued, we are not without honor. We follow the old ways. We offer your species a chance. The general's mouth twisted into something like a smile. His teeth were sharp and yellow. Single combat. Send your greatest warrior to face us. If your champion wins, we will leave your world in peace. If your champion loses, your planet burns. You have 1 hour to decide. The screens went black. Chaos exploded everywhere. Students ran for the doors. The professor was shouting something about emergency procedures. Phones were ringing with calls from scared family members. Pulled its arm again. Come on, my car is in the parking lot. We can drive to my parents' house outside the city. Gently removed his hand from her arm. Go to the shelter. The university basement is reinforced. You will be safe there. What about you? I will catch up. Something in her voice made stop. He had known for 2 years. She was quiet and kind. She fell asleep in boring lectures. She could not cook rice without burning it. She cried during sad movies and laughed at silly jokes. But right now she looked different. Her eyes had changed. They were harder, colder, like she was seeing something far away. Are you okay? She reached into her bag. Past the textbooks and notebooks and snacks, her fingers found something hidden at the bottom. A small black device she had not touched in 2 years. She had told herself she would never touch it again. She pulled it out. It looked like a simple phone, but noticed there were no brand markings on it. Just a small symbol he did not recognize. Pressed her thumb against the screen. It glowed blue. This is Ghost, she said. Her voice was different now. Harder, more official. Authorization code 77 Alpha 9. Patch me through to Admiral immediately. Felt like the floor had disappeared under his feet. What? What did you just say? The device beeped. A woman's voice came through, tight with stress. Ghost, is that really you? Thank God, we have been trying to reach you for the past 20 minutes. I was retired, said. I was supposed to be done with this. They are not giving us a choice. They have rejected every warrior we have offered. They say none of our soldiers are worthy. Closed her eyes. What are their requirements? 10,000 confirmed kills. Direct combat only. No machines, no remote weapons, no orbital strikes. Hand-to-hand or close weapons only. The number hung in the air. 10,000. Could not imagine such a number. That was more than the population of his. You are the only one who qualifies, the Admiral said. You are the only one who ever has. Opened her eyes. She looked at the boy she sat next to in class, the boy who shared his lunch with her when she forgot hers, the boy who had no idea who she really was. Tell General I accept his challenge, said into the device. She paused. A small, cold smile appeared on her face. Actually tell him this. Tell him he can send anyone he wants. I will be waiting. She ended the call and looked at one more time. I am sorry I never told you, she said softly. I just wanted to be normal, just for a little while. Then she walked out of the classroom, leaving standing alone among the overturned chairs and abandoned bags, wondering if he had ever really known her at all. The military base was hidden deep underground beneath the streets of Seoul, walked through metal corridors that smelled like recycled air and old coffee. Soldiers stepped aside when they saw her. Some of them saluted, some of them just stared. She had changed into a simple black combat suit. No medals, no decorations. She had never liked those things. They were just pretty ways to count dead bodies. Had followed her. She did not know how he had gotten past security, but he was stubborn. He always had been. Now he walked behind her, his face pale and confused. Will someone please tell me what is happening? He asked for the 10th time. Did not answer. She pushed open a heavy door and entered the command center. The room was full of screens and people shouting into phones. Maps showed the alien ship hanging over the Pacific Ocean. Numbers scrolled across displays, counting down the remaining time. 43 minutes until the deadline. Admiral stood in the center of it all. She was a tall woman with gray hair cut short and sharp eyes that missed nothing. When she saw, her whole body relaxed with relief. Ghost, thank you for coming. I did not have much choice. No, none of us do. The Admiral looked at, who is this? A friend, he followed me. He should not be here. He already heard too much. It is too late to send him away. The Admiral studied for a moment, then nodded. Fine, but he stays quiet. Opened his mouth to protest, but the look in the Admiral's eyes made him close it again. Show me what we know, said. The Admiral waved her hand and the main screen changed. It showed the alien general and information about his species. They are a warrior race. They have conquered most of their galaxy. They value strength above everything else. Their entire society is built on combat and honor. Their weakness, pride. They believe they are the strongest beings in the universe. They have never lost a challenge like this. Nodded slowly. What about their champions? Who will I be fighting? We do not know yet. Said he will choose based on who we send. The Admiral paused. When we sent our best Special Forces soldiers, he laughed, said they were not worth his time. He rejected 12 candidates. Because of the kill count. Yes, he seems to have detailed information about our military. He knows exactly how many enemies each of our soldiers has killed in combat. Was quiet for a moment. How does he have that information? We do not know, but he knows about you too. He asked for you specifically at first. Then he changed his mind and said no, she is retired, she does not count. He was mocking us. On the screen, old footage began to play. Watched herself from 5 years ago. She was younger then, but her eyes were the same. Cold. Focused. The video showed her moving through an alien base, taking down enemy after enemy with nothing but a knife in her bare hands. Made a small sound. His face had gone white. "The campaign," the Admiral said. "You were 19 years old. Your entire unit was killed in an ambush. You were the only survivor. You spent 3 days fighting your way out of enemy territory. Alone. You killed 412 enemies before reaching the extraction point." The footage changed. More battles, more death, watched with no expression. The siege of Europa Station. You held a single corridor for 18 hours against wave after wave of attackers. 700 kills. Another video, crawling through dark tunnels covered in blood and dirt. The mission. You infiltrated an enemy hive alone. You spent 18 months inside, slowly freeing prisoners and sending them to safety. One trip at a time. 200 prisoners rescued. Over 8,000 enemies killed. The Admiral turned off the screen. Total confirmed kills in direct combat. 11,347. The highest count in human history. Higher than any soldier in any war ever. Stumbled backward. He hit the wall and slid down until he was sitting on the floor. "This is not real," he whispered. "This cannot be real. She burns instant noodles. She cries at sad movies. She finally turned to look at him. Her eyes were soft now, almost apologetic. "I am sorry. I wanted to be the person you knew. I tried so hard to be that person. Maybe part of me really is that person." "Then who is the other part?" "Someone who did terrible things so other people would not have to. Someone who walked through hell so many times she forgot what the sun looked like." His voice was quiet. "Someone who just wanted to study physics and have friends and worry about normal things." A new voice came from a side screen. "Sister." Turned. A young man in a military uniform appeared on the display. He had the same eyes the same quiet strength. "Your equipment is ready. I maintained it myself just as you asked. The blade is sharp. The suit is charged." He paused. "Are you sure about this?" "Do I have a choice?" "You always have a choice. You could refuse, let someone else try." "Someone else would die, and then Earth would burn," shook her head. "No, this is my responsibility." She walked toward the door that led to the preparation room. At the doorway, she stopped and looked back at. "After this is over, if I survive, I will buy you dinner. I will answer all your questions. I promise." Looked up at her, the girl he thought he knew, the monster he was just learning about. Somehow they were the same person. "Just come back alive," he said. Smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. "I always do. That is the problem." She disappeared through the door, leaving alone with the Admiral and the countdown clock. 31 minutes remaining. The platform floated in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It was 1 kilometer wide, made of some strange alien metal that glowed faintly blue. They had built it in less than an hour. A demonstration of their technology, a reminder of their power. Stood at the center of the platform. The wind from the ocean pulled at her hair. She wore her black combat suit and carried a single blade at her hip, nothing else. No guns, no armor, no shields. Around the edges of the platform, holographic cameras floated in the air. Every person on Earth was watching. Every screen, every phone, every television showed the same image. A small Korean girl standing alone against the might of an alien empire. The warship hung in the sky above, blocking out the sun. Smaller ships circled like hungry birds. On a raised platform at one end, General sat on a throne made of bones. His yellow eyes watched with amusement. "This," his voice boomed across the arena, "this is your greatest warrior, a child." Looked up at him calmly. "I am 19, old enough." "Old enough to die, perhaps." Laughed, and his warriors laughed with him. The sound was harsh and ugly. "I will not dishonor my empire by fighting an infant myself. Instead, I send my champion." A door opened at the far end of the platform. Heavy footsteps shook the metal floor. A massive warrior emerged from the shadows. He was called the Crusher. He stood nearly 3 meters tall. His scales were black as night, and his arms were thicker than his entire body. Scars covered his face and chest, trophies from 1,000 battles. In his hands he carried 2 curved blades, each one longer than was tall. Has killed 6,000 enemies in single combat, announced. He has never been defeated. He has never even been wounded. Tilted her head slightly, only 6,000. The arena went quiet, even smile faded a little. Roared, the sound was so loud it hurts ears. Then he charged. He moved fast for something so big. His blades cut through the air in deadly arcs. Any normal person would have been cut in half in the first second. Was not normal. She stepped to the side. Not jumped, not dodged, just stepped. Like she was avoiding a puddle on a sidewalk. His blade passed through empty air. He spun and struck again, moved again. Her body flowed like water, always exactly where his weapons were not. 2 seconds. She touched his elbow as she passed. Just a light touch like a friend getting your attention, but screamed. His arm bent the wrong way. The joint had been destroyed. 4 seconds. She ducked under his remaining blade and tapped his knee. Another scream. He fell forward, unable to stand. 7 seconds. Her fingers found a spot on his neck, a nerve cluster his species did not even know they had. His eyes rolled back in his head. 11 seconds. The greatest champion of the Empire lay unconscious on the ground, stood beside him, holding his own blade against his throat. She had not even used her own weapon. She was not breathing hard. She was not sweating. She looked bored. General stood up from his throne. His amusement was gone. Something else was in his eyes now, something that might have been fear. Next, said. Another champion came, a female warrior covered in spikes, fast and deadly. She lasted 14 seconds. Another, a giant with 4 arms and poison claws, 8 seconds. Another, 2 warriors at once, fighting as a team. They had trained together for 50 years, put them both down in under a minute. Champion after champion fell. Some she knocked unconscious. Some she injured so badly they would never fight again. She killed none of them, not because she could not, but because she chose not to. 12 warriors lay on the platform around her. The greatest fighters the Empire had to offer, defeated by a girl who looked like she should be studying for exams. The cameras kept broadcasting. On Earth, people watched in silence. They had expected their champion to fight bravely and probably die. They had not expected this. No one had expected this. Looked up at again. Blood stained her hands, but none of it was hers. Is that all? Scales had changed color. They were darker now, flushed with anger and something else. Shame, perhaps, or terror. Enough games, he growled. He stood and removed his ceremonial cape. Beneath it, his body was a map of old scars and hard muscle. I will face you myself. Finally said, I was getting bored. Jumped from his platform. He landed on the arena floor hard enough to crack the metal. Standing at full height, he towered over like a mountain over a mouse. Before I kill you, human, I would know your name. My historians will want to record this moment. Drew her own blade for the first time. It was a simple weapon, nothing special to look at, but it had been with her through every battle she had ever fought. My name is... Just no titles, no honors. She considered the question. Lieutenant Commander, Ghost, sole survivor of the massacre, liberator of Europa Station, the one who walked into the hive alone and walked out carrying 200 prisoners. His eyes widened. His grip on his weapon tightened. The ghost is a myth, a story to frighten children. Smiled, it was not a nice smile. Your children should be frightened. Attacked with a roar that shook the sky, moved to meet him. The real battle had begun. General was not like his champions. He had not earned his position through politics or family connections. He had killed his way to the top. Every scar on his body was a lesson learned. Every battle had made him stronger. He was fast, faster than anything his size should be. His blade moved like lightning, cutting patterns in the air that would have killed most warriors 10 times over. Danced. There was no other word for it. She moved between his strikes like she could see the future. Her body bent and twisted in ways that seemed impossible. She was a leaf in a storm, always moving, never touched. His blade passed so close to her face that it cut a few strands of her hair. She did not blink. "Stand still," roared. "Fight me properly." "This is proper," said. "This is how I have always fought." She had learned to fight not in training rooms or simulations. She had learned in the mud and blood of real battlefields. She had learned by watching her friends die and swearing she would not join them. She had learned that the best way to win a fight was to never get hit at all. Changed his strategy. He stopped trying to hit her and started trying to trap her. He used his massive body to block her escape routes. He swung his blade in wide arcs, forcing her to move where he wanted. It almost worked. Felt the edge of the platform behind her, nowhere left to run. Smiled, his teeth sharp and yellow. "Caught you." He brought his blade down with all his strength. The blow could have split a tank in half. The metal floor cracked under the impact. But was not there. She had jumped straight up, using his own arm as a stepping stone. For a moment she hung in the air above him, small and fragile against the gray sky. Then she fell. Her blade found the gap between his armor plates. Just a small cut, barely deep enough to draw blood, but it was enough. Stumbled, his left leg stopped working properly. "What did you do?" he demanded. "Your species has a nerve bundle near the hip. Cut it, and the leg goes numb. You will not be able to stand in about 30 seconds. Roared and attacked again, but his movements were slower now, more desperate. He knew she was right. He could already feel the numbness spreading. Let him come. She let him land a blow, a slash across her arm that drew blood. It was not a mistake. She wanted him to feel hope. She wanted him to think he could still win. Then she took that hope away. 3 strikes, so fast that the cameras barely caught them. The first hit a pressure point on his right arm. The second found a nerve cluster on his left shoulder. The third touched a spot on his neck that made his whole body lock up. Fell to his knees. His weapons clattered to the ground. He could not move his arms. He could barely breathe. Walked around to face him. Her arm was bleeding, but she did not seem to notice. She placed her blade against his throat. "Yield," she said. The arena was silent. The entire world was silent. No one breathed. No one moved. Looked up at her. His yellow eyes were filled with something he'd seen many times before. The look of a warrior who had finally met something he could not defeat. "How," he whispered. "How is this possible? You are so small, so fragile. How can you be so strong?" Considered the question. It was a fair one. "Your species fights because you love it," she said. "You conquer because it brings you glory. War is a game to you, a sport." She leaned closer. "Humans do not love war. We hate it. We fight because we have to, because our families will die if we do not, because our children will grow up as slaves if we fail." Her voice was soft, almost gentle. "You fight for pride. We fight for survival. That is why we are stronger." Scales had gone pale. The arrogance was gone from his face. He looked old now and tired. "If you are this strong," he said, "why did you stop? Why did you retire?" Was quiet for a long moment. "Because killing is easy," she finally said. "Living is hard. I wanted to try the hard thing for once." She pressed her blade a little harder against his throat. A thin line of blue blood appeared. "Now yield, or I will show you just how easy killing can be." The silence stretched on. Every person on Earth held their breath. Every warrior on the ships above watched with wide eyes. General Supreme Commander of the Empire, conqueror of 47 species, the most feared warrior in 3 galaxies, closed his eyes. I yield. The words were quiet, but the microphones caught them. They echoed across the arena, across the planet, across the stars. Step back, she lowered her blade. Then take your fleet and leave. Never return to this system, and tell the rest of the galaxy what happened here today. Struggled to his feet. His warriors came down from the ships to help him. They looked at with fear in their eyes, like she was a monster, like she was a demon. Maybe she was. As they retreated to their ships, turned back one final time. "What are you?" he asked. Thought about it. She thought about the girl who burned instant noodles and cried at sad movies. She thought about the soldier who had killed thousands. She thought about the student who just wanted to understand quantum physics. "I am human," she said. "That is all, that is enough." The alien ships rose into the sky and disappeared into the stars. Stood alone on the platform, her blood dripping onto the metal floor, and watched them go. It was finally over. 1 week had passed since the battle. The world had changed. Governments were meeting to discuss what to do about the aliens. Scientists were studying the abandoned platform in the Pacific. Religious leaders were arguing about what it all meant. But in Seoul, in a quiet classroom at the university, some things stayed the same. Sat in her usual seat in the back row. She had a yellow highlighter in her hand and a physics textbook open in front of her. The bandage on her arm was hidden under her sleeve. No one would know it was there unless they looked closely. The professor was talking about quantum entanglement, something about particles being connected across huge distances. When one particle changed, the other changed too, no matter how far apart they were. Liked that idea, the thought that things could be connected even when they seemed completely separate. The classroom was fuller than usual. Students kept glancing at her, then looking away quickly when she noticed. Some of them wanted to talk to her. Some of them were afraid of her. Most of them did not know what to feel. Ignored them all. She had practice at that. The door opened and walked in. He was late, as usual. He had coffee in one hand and a half-eaten breakfast sandwich in the other. He looked tired, like he had not slept well. He stopped when he saw. For a moment, he just stood there looking at her. Then he walked over and sat down in the seat next to hers, just like he always did. "You missed a good lecture yesterday," said without looking up. "Professor explained string theory. It was interesting." Stared at her. "You saved the planet last week." "Yes." "You fought an alien general on live television." "Yes." "You have killed more people than anyone in human history." Finally looked up. Her eyes were calm and a little sad. "Yes." Was quiet for a long moment. Then he put his coffee down on the desk and rubbed his face with both hands. "I do not know how to process any of this." "That is understandable. I have known you for 2 years. You are my friend. You helped me study for exams. You laughed at my bad jokes. You burned instant noodles so badly that the fire alarm went off. The noodles were not my fault. The instructions were unclear. You threw a 7-foot alien across a platform. He was off balance. Made a sound that was half laugh, half groan. He put his head down on the desk. How am I supposed to go back to normal after this? How do I just sit here and listen to lectures about physics when I know what you really are?" Put down her highlighter. She turned to face him properly. "What am I? What do you think I really am?" He lifted his head and looked at her. Really looked at her. The girl with the messy ponytail and the tired eyes. The girl who wore old sweaters and forgot to eat lunch. The girl who smiled at dogs on the street and got nervous before presentations. "I do not know anymore," he admitted. Nodded slowly. "I will tell you what I am. I am someone who has done terrible things. I have killed people. I have watched friends die. I have seen things that give me nightmares every single night." Her voice was quiet, almost a whisper. But I am also someone who wants to understand quantum physics. Someone who likes the way coffee smells in the morning. Someone who thinks your jokes are actually funny, even the bad ones. She reached out and touched his arm gently. I am not one thing or the other, I am both. The soldier and the student, the killer and the friend. I know that is confusing. I know it is hard to understand. But that is the truth. Looked at her hand on his arm, then he looked at her face. Does it ever get easier, carrying all of that? Thought about it. Some days are better than others. Having friends helps. Having normal things to do helps. Studying helps. She smiled a little. Burning instant noodles helps, believe it or not. Laughed, it was a real laugh, surprised out of him. You are so weird. I know. He shook his head, but he was smiling now. Okay, fine. I guess I can deal with my friend being the most dangerous person on the planet, but you still owe me dinner. You promised. I remember. How about tonight? There is a good Korean barbecue place near campus. You are paying. I saved the entire world. I think I can afford some meat. They both laughed. The students around them stared but did not care. For a moment, everything felt normal. For a moment, she was just a girl sitting with her friend, making plans for dinner. The professor cleared his throat loudly. If the two of you are done with your conversation, perhaps we can continue with the lecture. Sorry, Professor said. She picked up her highlighter again, opened his notebook and pretended to take notes. Outside the window, the sky was blue and clear. No alien ships, no threats, just clouds and sunlight and the normal sounds of a city going about its day. Somewhere out among the stars, General was sending messages to other species, warning them about Earth, warning them about humans, warning them about a small girl who studied physics and cried at sad movies and could kill 1,000 warriors without breaking a sweat. The galaxy was learning to be afraid. But did not think about that. She thought about quantum entanglement. She thought about dinner with her friend. She thought about the small, ordinary moments that made life worth living. She had fought her battles. She had earned her peace. Now she just wanted to be a student again. And finally, for the first time in a long time, that seemed possible.